Welcome to the Strategic Pulse. Significant developments have emerged in the last 24 hours. The definition of this conflict has fundamentally shifted, revealing critical new facts on the ground.
Analysts suggest that Tehran has played a major strategic move, effectively checkmating U.S. actions.
Meanwhile, frustration within the United States administration is reportedly growing day by day.
The narrative of bringing democracy has been replaced by heavy bombardment of civilian centers.
Reports conferred that crowded cities like the capital are now targeted, contradicting earlier promises. In a strategic blow, Iran has effectively blinded the U.S. military by destroying key radar installations.
The United States operates 8 advanced Tehran radar systems globally to monitor threats.
Shocking reports indicate that 4 of these 8 systems have been neutralized in the Middle East. A critical question arises regarding how Tehran obtained such precise coordinates for these strikes.
Unlike their adversaries, Iran does not possess a known intelligence agency equivalent to the Mossad.
Yet, they successfully targeted covert operations and radar sites with pinpoint accuracy.
The Iranian president has released a video message proposing a significant shift in regional policy. The proposal suggests that if Gulf nations deny U.S. forces use of their bases, they will be spared.
Essentially, if these nations do not participate in the U.S. attack, they will not be targeted.
Strategists call this a brilliant move, following a week of demonstrating destructive capability.
Tehran has shown it can disrupt safe havens like Dubai and threaten the flow of oil supplies.
The message to Gulf leaders is clear. Do not let your soil be the launch pad for American warplanes. They are forcing the U.S. to rely solely on long-range stealth bombers and aircraft carriers. This is a calculated attempt to fracture the alliance between the United States and Gulf monarchies.
Gulf nations are deeply integrated with the U.S. economy, making total separation difficult.
However, a larger geopolitical game involving Russia, China, and Ukraine is clearly unfolding.
While physically a regional conflict, the strategic footprint is now undeniably global.
Analysts note Tehran is employing a strategy known as victory denial against superior forces.
Acknowledging an unequal fight, the goal is not to conquer, but to prevent an American win.
Officials claim missile fire rates dropped, but Tehran says this is deliberate pacing. The objective is to prolong the conflict, dragging the United States into a war of attrition.
Over 80 fighters have reportedly dropped hundreds of bombs in the last 24 hours.
Strikes are concentrated on central Iran, aiming to destroy underground missile launchers.
Advanced stealth bombers and bunker-busting munitions are being deployed for deep strikes.
The U.S. administration has confirmed striking 200 separate targets within Iran.
Tragically, confirmed reports indicate over 1,300 Iranian casualties so far.
Conversely, reports from the other side claim only 10 to 20 casualties occurred.
Skeptics argue these low numbers suggest a significant suppression of facts by the media.
Unverified reports also suggest American troop casualties are being actively concealed.
Iran has moved to phase 2, having already degraded U.S. radar capabilities significantly.
Phase 1 focused on blinding the enemy. Phase 2 involves deploying advanced heavy missiles.
Hypersonic weapons like the Fatah are now reportedly entering the battlefield theater.
The U.S. president continues to use bold rhetoric, promising to bring the adversary to its knees.
Yet the Iranian leadership explicitly rejects any possibility of reconciliation or surrender.
Regional powers are attempting back-channel communications to de-escalate the situation.
The conflict poses a severe threat to the entire Middle East's stability and oil trade.
Recent attacks on major international airports suggest these diplomatic efforts are fragile.
It remains unclear if the proposed non-aggression pact with Gulf nations will actually hold.
The U.S. administration insists the adversary will be forced to beg for a settlement soon.
Tehran dismisses this, stating the demand for unconditional surrender is a pure fantasy.
Leadership in Iran has publicly rejected any form of negotiation with the United States.
They have issued a stark challenge, claiming they are waiting for American ground forces.
A third aircraft carrier strike group is now being deployed to the region to bolster forces.
Analysts note that forcing this level of U.S. deployment is, in itself, a strategic win.
Reports indicate 50,000 National Guard troops have been placed on high alert.
The U.S. president has suggested this number could rise, hinting at a ground invasion.
This escalation transforms the conflict from a regional skirmish into a global war.
Experts agree Tehran could not survive this long against a superpower without foreign aid.
Evidence points to a foreign hand, orchestrating events behind the scenes of this war.
The regional leadership appears to be securing a strategic advantage without direct engagement.
Intelligence sources confirm Russia is sharing specific targeting data with Tehran.
This explains how CIA locations and secret bases were targeted with such high precision.
Russia possesses the unique capability to track American assets in real time globally.
The destruction of command centers bears the hallmarks of advanced Russian military strategy.
If the Strait of Hormuz closes, Russia becomes the primary oil supplier to the global market.
With the U.S. bogged down here, pressure on the Eastern European front significantly drops.
China is also capitalizing on this, following a strategy of hiding strength and biding time.
Rebuilding the destroyed radars requires gallium, a metal whose supply China strictly controls.
Beijing is unlikely to export these critical rare earth materials to the U.S. during a crisis.
This allows forces to bypass American GPS, relying instead on alternative navigation systems.
Critical rocket components and fuel technology also bear the distinct imprint of Chinese aid.
With billions invested and relying on Iranian oil, Beijing has a vested interest in the outcome.
In a twist, the U.S. administration has reportedly asked the Ukrainian president for urgent help.
Having faced similar drones, Ukrainian experts are now advising on low-cost interception tactics.
They are teaching how to stop cheap drones without wasting expensive million-dollar missiles.
This cooperation implies a transactional expectation of continued support against Russia later.
To support the Middle East, interceptors are being stripped from South Korea and Taiwan bases.
Analysts warn that this leaves the Asian theater dangerously exposed.
pleasing Beijing greatly.
The reduction of defenses in South Korea is undoubtedly being watched closely by the North.
The global geopolitical balance is shifting as American resources congregate in one zone. The current singular focus on defeating Iran is draining assets from other critical frontiers. The administration is now attempting to re-engage Kurdish groups it previously abandoned.
However, reports indicate these groups are refusing to fight another war for the United States.
With proxy forces refusing to fight, the option of U.S. boots on the ground is being debated.
Domestic political pressure is mounting, reportedly forcing the leadership into a corner.
The elite 82nd Airborne Division has reportedly been placed on immediate standby status.
The strategy aims to seize islands and choke off the adversary's vital oil supply lines.
However, Tehran appears to be inviting this, preparing for brutal hand-to-hand combat.
History suggests that even minor ground casualties would trigger massive public outcry. Recent polls indicate only 12% of the public supports a ground invasion now. Experts reiterate that air power alone has never successfully achieved regime change.
The U.S. risks entering an escalation matrix similar to the quagmires of Syria or Afghanistan.
The myth of total air dominance is shattering as defense systems continue to fail.
Gulf states are expressing deep anger as U.S. security guarantees prove ineffective.
Production rates are a major issue. The U.S. builds 6 interceptors for every 100 missiles.
Rebuilding a single destroyed radar requires 77 kilograms of rare earth gallium.
Without Chinese cooperation, replacing these billion-dollar assets is nearly impossible.
Reports suggest Gulf nations threaten to withdraw investments if security is not restored.
While some nations condemn the violence, others are silently picking sides in this shadow war. This is no longer a regional dispute, but a global conflict involving major world powers.
The division created between the U.S. and its Gulf allies is seen as a strategic masterstroke.
The critical question is whether launch sites can be destroyed before the next barrage.
If not, the impact of the next wave of ballistic missiles could be even more devastating. The Strategic Pulse will continue to monitor this global crisis. Stay vigilant. Subscribe for objective geopolitical updates. Good night.